What's up, everybody? It's JT Sports, and I'm back to you guys with another video. In this video, I'm here with my New England Patriots 7-round 2020 NFL mock draft. So, for the New England Patriots, this is a team that had really lost a lot in free agency. I mean, let's first start off with losing the greatest quarterback of all time in Tom Brady. You lost him. He went to Tampa Bay in free agency. Then you lost Calvin Noy. You lost Jamie Collins to free agency. So the New England Patriots lost a lot of key players on the defense side of football, and they lost the greatest quarterback of all time. So, I mean, the question is, how are they going to replace those guys? And it's most likely going to end up being through the draft. Now, for the New England Patriots, their needs are linebackers. I really don't think they need a quarterback. I'm really sold on Jarrett Stidham. I'm on the Jarrett Stidham hype train. I know a lot of you Patriots fans probably aren't sold on Jarrett Stidham, but I'm pretty sold on Jarrett Stidham. And now, with their first round selection, 23rd overall, having selected edge rusher CHAISSON out of LSU. This guy is a freak of nature. He's fast. He's athletic. I think he fits the mold of what Bill Belichick wants out of an edge rusher. And one thing about the New England Patriots is that they never they had Trey Flowers, who was a solid edge rusher, right? But I mean, other than him, they really never really had a dominant one-on-one pass rusher. So for the New England Patriots, I think this is something that they really have to address, and I think that edge rusher Caleb Chase can end up being that dominant one-on-one pass rusher for the Patriots. This is a team that is built on how good they are with their secondary. Their secondary is the heart and soul of their team. So a lot of the times their secondary being so good and shutting down the opposing team's wide receiver leads to a lot of coverage sacks. But I think having a guy like Caleb Chasen, a good guy who could come in and be that dominant one-on-one pass rusher that you need, is also going to help out that secondary as well, because then those guys don't have to cover as long. And I think this guy is a Bill Belichick kind of guy right here. So I have him going to the New England Patriots with the 23rd overall. Now, with the third round selection, 87th overall, having selected tight end Thaddeus Moss out of LSU. Now, some people may think that this is a reach, and I wouldn't be upset if a lot of people did feel like this was a reach. But at the end of the day, the New England Patriots do need a tight end. Um, they haven't had one since Gronkowski, and this is something that is a really big piece of how they want to run their offense. And if they don't have a solid tight end, then their offense can't really be ran to the efficiency that it has to be ran. So they really need a tight end, and I think tight end Thaddeus Moss would be a good fit. He is the son of Randy Moss, and during his time for LSU, he had a really nice season. He played a little bit earlier in NC State, didn't really see the field that often. He went to LSU, and was a really solid part of their championship run. And not only is he good in the receiving game, but he's also a really good blocker as well, which is something that the New England Patriots require their tight ends to be able to do. You had to be able to block. And one thing about Gronkowski, even when he was deteriorating in like his last season, he was a really good run blocker as well. And a lot of people don't really talk about that. And one thing about Thaddeus Moss is that he's not a burner. He's not a guy who's going to burn you downfield or anything like that, but he's a guy who has good hands. He's going to be able to keep the chains moving on third down, and he could be a good safety blanket for Jarrett Stidham or whoever will be the starting quarterback for New England this upcoming season. Now, I know you guys are going to feel like this is a reach, but I mean, I think this is a well needed reach because they definitely need a tight end. I think will be a very good fit. Now, with their second, third round selection, 98th overall, having selected wide receiver Tyler Johnson out of Minnesota. Now, this guy is a solid route runner. He has really good hands as well. He's not a burner downfield. He's not somebody who's going to burn you downfield, but I mean, he has really good hands. His route running is pretty solid. So, I mean, for him, I think this would be a really good fit with the New England Patriots. The New England Patriots, the way they like their wide receivers, they like their wide receivers to really be able to do a lot of damage in the intermediate routes. I mean, you got to have good hands if you want to be able to play wide receiver for the New England Patriots. And I think Tyler Johnson is a really good fit for the New England Patriots. Now they have another third round selection. I have them selecting offensive tackle Prince Tega Wagahu I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name, but for the New England Patriots, offensive tackle is also a little bit of a need. They don't really have a lot of depth there at that position. I think Prince Tega is a guy who can come in and he should be able to compete for a starting spot right away. And even if not, maybe you could end up moving him to guard and get some production out of him that way. But I think this is a guy who should be able to come in. He should be able to start right away. If not being able to start this season, he should be able to start in the next season or two. I think this is a guy who the New England Patriots should look to bring in to add some depth to the offensive line because when that offensive line went down with injuries last season, it wasn't that good. So they need some more depth at the offensive line position. I think Prince Taylor is a guy who can end up bringing that depth and also a guy who could end up starting right away for the New England Patriots. Now, the fourth round selection, 125th overall, having selected linebacker Troy Dye out of Oregon University. Now, for Troy Dye, this is a guy who isn't the biggest of linebackers, but this is a really good tackler. Now, a lot of people have him going in between. Some people say he could be a late second rounder. Some people say he could go as low as the fourth round. So I think this would be a pretty good spot for him. This is a guy who I think should be able to start for the New England Patriots. Like I said, this guy's production is off the charts. He was really one of the biggest parts of that Oregon defense last year. The thing with him is that he's not the most athletic and he's not that big as well. He has a pretty slim frame for a linebacker. So he's kind of like a little bit of a hybrid. Maybe you want to move him to that outside linebacker role. Maybe you can move him in inside. It just depends on how the New England Patriots want to use him and how Bill Belichick chooses to use him. Now, with their fifth round selection, I have them selecting another offensive lineman. I have them selecting offensive guard Hakeem DJ out of Kansas University. Now, like I said, the New England Patriots need some more offensive linemen because last year when they went down with injuries on that offensive line, things got really, really ugly. So, I mean, they need to add some more depth at that offensive line position. And I think Hakeem DJ will be a really good fit. And I think this is a guy who fits well with the New England Patriots for the fact that Bill Belichick likes his offensive lineman to be athletic. He likes his offensive lineman to be agile, and that's what Hakeem out in DJ is. He's really good in space. I think he could be really good in a zone blocking scheme. So I think the New England Patriots would be a really good fit for Hakeem out in DJ in the fifth round. Now, with their sixth round selection, I have them selecting cornerback Lamar Jackson out of Nebraska. Now, for Lamar Jackson, um, there's not really a lot of teams that he could really go to because of his skill set. I mean, this is a big corner. I believe he's like 6'2", 208 pounds. He runs really well. But the thing with him is that he's just a good press corner, a good bump and run corner. He's not really the most. I mean, this guy really. He's not really that good in my opinion. And he only fits well in teams that like the press their corners that runs that bump and run kind of scheme like Seattle, Atlanta, and New England. So I mean, if it's not either one of those two teams, if he doesn't get drafted to the Falcons or the Seattle Seahawks or the New England Patriots, then I don't really think he'll end up making. I don't even think he'll end up fitting in well. Now he does have a good enough skill set that he will be able to be drafted, but I mean, unless he goes to a team like the ones I just mentioned, I don't really see him having a lot of success in the NFL. Now with the New England Patriots, on the other hand, I think, like I said, I mentioned them as one of the three teams to go to: Seattle, Atlanta, and the New England Patriots, because those are three teams that like to press their corners, that kind of have that bump and run mentality. And with Lamar Jackson, I think he'll be a really good fit with the New England Patriots because the New England Patriots is a team that really relies on man-to-man coverage, and they really like to be really physical with you on the line of scrimmage. So I really think Lamar Jackson going to New England will be a really good fit for him. Now, with their second sixth round selection, 205th overall, have them selecting quarterback James Morgan out of FIU University. Now, James Morgan has been linked to the New England Patriots more than any other quarterback so far throughout the draft process. Now, a lot of you guys are probably like, who the hell is James Morgan? James Morgan is a quarterback who really got on a lot of people's radar because of how good he was during the East West Shrine Week. He had a really good practice. He also performed really well during the game as well. His combine was pretty solid as well. So this is a guy who has been rising up a lot of people's draft boards. A lot of people probably didn't even think he was going to end up getting drafted, and I think he could end up being a late sixth round selection, seventh round selection. So I think for the New England Patriots, if they do draft a quarterback, this is probably the spot that they would draft a quarterback. This is the quarterback who I've seen linked to the Patriots more than any other quarterback prospect in this draft class. Now with their third sixth round selection, I have them selecting edge rusher Alex Highsmith out of Charlotte University. Now Alex Highsmith is a really solid edge rusher. He's not really the most athletic. He doesn't really have that great of a size, neither a good of a frame. So I think for the New England Patriots, this is a guy who you could bring in, see if he can end up making a roster, then let him become a developmental project or something like that. And for the New England Patriots, I mean, this is what they do best, bringing in guys like Alex Highsmith and developing those guys into solid starters. So I think him going to the New England Patriots would be a really good fit, especially with Bill Belichick, who's really good at developing guys like him. Now, they have another sixth round selection. Jesus Christ, man. I have them selecting wide receiver Courtney Davis out of Texas A&M University. Now, Courtney Davis is a guy who doesn't really have a lot of production. This is a guy who I think the Patriots could just bring in because I think he has a lot of potential on the special team side of football. Maybe he could end up having a little bit of production at the receiver position, but mostly I think this is a guy who should be able to be pretty good on the special team side of the football. With their seventh round selection, 231st overall, having selected kicker Rodrigo Blankenship out of the University of Georgia. Now, Rodrigo Blankenship should be the first kicker taken off the board. He is the best kicker in this draft class. He's probably one of the best kickers I've seen enter the NFL draft in a while. So he does have a draftable grade. This guy has a rocket for a leg. He was one of the fan favorites at the University of Georgia. And for the New England Patriots, the kicker position was a big problem last year. They went through a couple of kickers, I believe. So I think Rodrigo Blankenship is a guy that I could see the New England Patriots drafting and letting him be their kicker. And they did let Steven Gostkowski leave, so I think they would end up drafting kicker Rodrigo Blankenship in the seventh round, 231st overall. Now with their second seventh round selection, 242nd overall, having selected another offensive lineman, offensive guard, Kyle Murray out of Rhode Island University. Now, Murphy is a guy who is really big, and like I said, he's athletic, he's really agile. I think this is a guy who could end up being a solid backup for the New England Patriots. Maybe he could end up being a starter, but for me, I think he's just in to see if he can make the roster and then provide some depth as needed. So let me know what you guys think about this mock draft down in the comment section down below. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel for more NFL videos and content, and thanks for watching.